Hello everybody, this is Double RPG here, and welcome back to another episode of Double RPG Let's Play with Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance. In today's episode, we're gonna pick up where we left off, and we are gonna finish up the Suhalla Desert in its entirety. And we will be able to fight against a boss, as well as find a Mars Genie while we're here at this place. But yeah, we should be able to finish up in its entirety. And I'll also show you the entrance to where, or how to get to Crossbone Isle. But I'll just show you the entrance, but I won't be going there right away. As I said, I will be going there once as we have arrived at the spot to where the final battle is going to be. And before we do the final battle, that's when we'll be doing some side questing, and the Crossbone Isle is definitely a side quest. Okay, gamers, let's go ahead and get on with this episode that's already in progress, shall we? And that's enough of my talking out of the introductions there, and let's get back into the action to where we left off. And as you can tell, we were fighting against another storm lizard of some sort, or another tornado lizard of some sort. But no, it's not called the storm lizard. The storm lizard is actually one of the names of the bosses that's here in the Suhalla Desert, which is the boss that we're going to be fighting in this episode today. So, yeah, that should be very interesting. But yes, when we go through the narrow passageways like that from the previous episode, we will be ending up fighting against tornado lizards, or they will end up bringing us back to the entrance of the Suhalla Desert right before Suhalla, in case if we don't decide to douse the tornadoes or whatever. But yeah, we want to make sure we douse them so that way we can fight against the tornado lizards and we can progress even further. And you know, it kind of sucks that you have to fight the tornado lizards all over again when you have to go back and forth through this place. Kind of makes it a bit unplayable. I mean, it kind of makes it a bit repetitious a little bit. But for the most part, you will get a lot of experience points at the same time. Okay, well now we're going to head this way, and we're going to head to the second part of the desert. And as I said, when you're going through the Suhalla Desert, you actually don't get heat stroke in this place, or you won't even lose any hit points due to the massive heat stroke. This is more of a cooler desert, and you don't even have to look at a bar that's at the side to show you how far the heat is within a level, or within the place, that is. Alright, so we got a couple of, I think, Haradans and an Orc Captain. Yeah, Haradan is another palette swap for the Virago or the Virago. Nothing new there, except they're a little bit stronger than the other previous forms, but they're still cakewalk. And so is the Orc Captain, who can't seem to be stopped defending himself. I hate it when enemies defend themselves, or else you're not going to be able to get a lot of damage in. And it almost makes it seem like it's impossible to kill them, but it really isn't. Okay, so let's go through here again, and we'll douse it for good. You know, one of the things that I'm actually kind of very surprised by is when I do the rendering of these videos through Sony Vegas, you can actually see the tornadoes have that opacity layer to where they're not actually fully visible. Well, they are visible, but not 100% filled in the opacity. And it's the same thing with the Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island Let's Play, with all those hidden Yoshi clouds or whatever that you find that give you those bonus secrets. Yeah, I'm surprised that Sony Vegas actually has the power to make those actually appear like you would actually see them in game. So I give Sony props for that. Okay, we get a lucky medal inside the treasure chest, and the middle path is the path that we need to take, but there's actually another thing that we can take a look at over at the right path. But you know what, let's take care of the tornado lizard here that's here at the middle path. And I can't believe it's almost getting close to it's almost getting close for this game to wrap up, and especially Conker's Bad Fur Day, which it wraps up this Monday. And then that's when Skyward Sword is going to be my full focus for every other week, and so is Ninja Gaiden Sigma for every other week. But first, Skyward Sword's going to start, and then Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. Why do I keep getting it confused with Ninja Gaiden Sigma and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2? I guess it's because the original Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox, that's based on the second series, is actually a really well-made game. But when you play Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, it actually feels a bit more linear, because you actually can't do any backtracking or any of that jargon. Alright, That was another storm lizard down, or a tornado lizard down. It's time to take care of the other one here. And evidently, there are some other games that I still need to wrap up and play before I go to the next one. And specifically, one is Final Fantasy 13. And yes, I did say Final Fantasy 13 because I actually want to get the bonus stuff after you have completed the first game, and you can transfer that data to the second game to get the whatever you can do. It's kind of the same thing with this game, but at least this game series actually holds more value than Final Fantasy 13. That is pure fact right there. And, you know, I think I can have a general... I think I believe the general knowledge as to why there are lots of people who don't even like 3D-based RPGs, even though I'm kind of one of those people, but I can understand why a vast majority of people who play role-playing games or just play video games in general don't even like to trend to the 3D field. I think it's because ever since the video game industry, when we were growing up, when you make games, you always have to abide by limitations, but sometimes those limitations can actually deliver some great quality games like Pong and Pitfall and Kaboom on the Atari, and some other ones like for the NES, Super Mario Brothers and the original Legend of Zelda and Metroid. When you have games like those at the early days of gaming, you'd always have to abide by limitations. But the overall product is always actually more satisfying, especially with those older games. And I know this game kind of suffers from limitations too because of it being divided into two games for one full story arc. That's why it's so enjoyable, because sometimes those limitations are actually put in more quality. Whereas with games today, it seems like it's like they put in, even though the quality is bigger, but it seems like they kind of overlap that aspect and put in more quantity in terms of like time and such. But it's not to say it's a bad thing. I mean, there are some games that are long that are still enjoyable, but you know, for experiences, I mean, when you compare stuff that is in the 2D field to gaming today, it's actually the 2D gaming or the retro gaming is actually more appealing to the eye, because you know, you can put in a lot more creativity based on the limitations and the capabilities that future consoles have if they were still sprite based, and they would tend to get really good praise from the general public as well as critics and reviewers alike. So yeah, that's why I'm for more of the retro stuff rather than most of the current gen gaming. But I still like some current gen games, mind you, but it's just that, you know, I just stick with the classics most often. Like Zelda, for instance, and Ninja Gaiden. And I even declare the Golden Sun series as a classic, too. Okay, so we finally made our way towards a Mars Genie. And we have to fight it like always, and we just do what we do best, but it's a little bit stronger than the other Mars Gene that we fought against. But it's pretty much cakewalk. And with us doing that one ability to where Mia lulled it to sleep, we should be able to finally finish it off. Finish him! Yes, we finally finished him, and Isaac is now a level 22 Gallant, but we do need to set that back so he can become a Lord again. And with this, with this Genie, Flash, if we set it to Garrett, we should be able to transform him from a warrior to a champion. Yeah, so he goes under a job change. Pretty good stats, but nothing new gained in terms of synergy. Now Flash, what it is, it's exactly like Granite, but its defensive capabilities are a lot more stronger. Probably the strongest in the Golden Sun series. So whenever you're fighting really tough bosses, do not hesitate to use that genie at your own discretion. It'll definitely save you in the long run. And that tornado we passed by, that tornado will actually take you to Crossbone Isle. But as I said, we're not going there just yet, as we're going to continue to pull through the Suhalla Desert, and we should be able to fight against the boss that's coming up pretty quick. But yeah, Flash is actually one of the best Mars Genie that you can actually have in this game. Oh, cool! We have a tornado chasing us, and if that tornado catches us, then we can use the we can use the Douse ability, and with that tornado big in size, I figured that's probably going to be a boss right there. And I am right. Let's go ahead and defeat this Harridan, and escape from the tornado again while we can. Alright. We're not going to escape it anymore. It's time to put the smackdown on this boss. Indeed, it's a boss. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the boss of the Suhalla Desert, or one of them. It is known as the Storm Lizard. So, yeah, it's one of the strongest lizard, or the strongest members of the tornado lizards that are in the Suhalla Desert. But there is another boss that's exactly like that, but of a different color scheme in the Suhalla Desert. That's known as the Tempest Lizard. Basically, both the Storm Lizard and the Tempest Lizard, they pretty much have the same attacks and abilities, but the Tempest Lizard offers a little bit, actually has a little bit strong, is a little bit higher with the hit point count and the experience and the coin count that you receive in battle. But for the most part, the Storm Lizard and the Tempest Lizard are pretty much the same for when you fight against it. So nothing new there. Okay, let's go ahead and use Forge, and Garrett is going to raise everybody's attack power. But I will tell you that the Storm Lizard is actually pretty strong, specifically with the Jupiter synergy abilities that he has. And yes, this enemy is pretty much a Jupiter-based monster, because he has Jupiter-based spells on him. So Isaac is pretty much the candidate to do the most damage onto this foe. Okay, let's go ahead and use Flash, and Flash should save us in the long run. And I will show you a very good example of its defensive capabilities when fighting against this boss. Now, both the Storm Lizard and the Tempest Lizard, they can attack twice per turn, so that's something that you need to look forward to in case if you're fighting against this type of guy. And just take a look. I mean, even though those are very strong wind-based spells or Jupiter-based spells, the Mars Genie Flash that summoned the protective aura around our companions, they managed to reduce they managed to strengthen their defensive capabilities. So yeah, that's a very good ability to have, and trust me, it's a godsend to have that. Yeah, it's a godsend to have that Mars Genie with you at all times. Okay, and yeah, this boss fight can go on a little bit long because the Storm Lizard is a pretty strong foe, and it has about 3,100 hit points, if I'm not mistaken, or at least close to 3,000, but it's kind of hard to say. So yeah, this boss packs in a lot of hit points, but we can still defeat it. And ouch! Oh god, he's using Wing Stroke again, and it pretty much took down Ivan. No. Okay, we'll pretty much use Quartz on Ivan if we can, but I think we better use a summon on the Storm Lizard, and we will summon Meteor, and I think we'll use Plywell on Garrett. Has no effect on Ivan! Are you kidding me? That can't be right! Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to use a Water of Life on him. Okay, so he used Warden Impact, which raises his defense and his strength. So, Storm Lizard is going to be a little bit tougher. Okay, so do you have a okay, we'll just have Mia. I think we'll just have her use a Water of Life on Ivan. And I wonder, I think Isaac may have Revive on him at this point, the ability Revive, and he should be able to revive his allies, but if not, I think we get it right around level 25. You're using Wing Stroke again? Oh, come on. Dude! Gosh, look at all the damage that this creature is doing to us. Ugh, I'm gonna have to use a nut on Ivan. Get all nutty. We can't even use Flash until we manage to heal everybody. So let's go ahead and use Thor against that foe. And we don't have Plywell. And I don't know why I used the healing properties for Mia on Isaac when Isaac should already have enough hit points healed onto him when he uses the nut. Ugh, God. Dang it! So Mia's down, and I think Garrett is going to be the next one to go down. Yes, he is. As I said, this boss can be a little bit tough, but it's really not that bad. But we do have a water of life, and I think we may want to use that on... are we really going to get... Okay, you know what? We better use a Cure Well on Ivan, and then we better have him use the Bind spell, so that way he can make the Storm Lizard not use any of his Synergy-based spells. But it has no effect! Are you kidding me? Ouch. Come on. Let's get him back, or let's get them back on their feet. I don't know if we're going to get them back on their feet. Actually, yeah, we should be able to. But I don't think Isaac has a Water of Life on him right now. But sometimes when you're fighting against these bosses, their Synergy points will run out, so you should be able to do fight. Okay, so we do have Revive, so we have to make sure that we're at a Gallant before we can use it. Like I said, when we're at a certain job for our characters, that's when they can be revived, or that's when they have those abilities to where they can actually help out their party members or whatever. Okay, Mia is going to summon Boreas, the Ice Shaver Machine. Hopefully this is the end of it. Yes, it is! And we felled the Storm Lizard, and everybody managed to survive against that creature. Very good. And we managed to get 6,100 coins and a Synergy Crystal, or a Psych Crystal. And it won't be that much longer now until we make it to the end of this place, which should be coming up very shortly. We just have to cross a pathway, and then that will take us to the exit to where... Actually, it might actually be very wise to run around the place so that... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, it might be very wise to run around the place so that way we can make sure we can get all the gene restored from their standby mode or whatever. Or their recovery mode. Okay, let's go ahead and defeat these Magicores. So yeah, these guys are a palette swap of Manticore, but they're a little bit smaller. So yeah, these are regular small fry in comparison to Manticore, but we can defeat them. So how is Final Fantasy 13-2, everybody? Is it a lot better than Final Fantasy 13? And how is Soul Calibur 5? If any of you have played those games, be sure to leave a comment below to let me know how they are, because I really do want to try at least Soul Calibur 5, but I'm kind of wondering if Final Fantasy 13-2 is actually a lot better than Final Fantasy 13. I assume it is, but it's kind of hard to tell for me at this point, but you let me know in the comments to see if it's actually worth it. Okay, so we managed to defeat those Magicores, and now we need to go down this way. And we need to go to the right. Okay, there's nothing that's beyond that way. So, let's defeat these Harridans, and then we can make our exit. And I can't believe it's getting close to the end of this game. We're almost close to the Venus Lighthouse, and like I said, from when playing this game, I didn't even know that the Venus Lighthouse was actually the final dungeon in this game. I thought the whole game was covered like into one big story arc, but nope, evidently that gets split up into 2 games. And you've been hearing me say why it got split up into 2 games, because of the amount of data that both games hold that they wouldn't be able to fit into one Game Boy Advance cartridge. Okay, we finally made it here to the exit of the Suhalla Desert, but they could not even find Sheba within this desert. And so our next destination should be to press on to Lalivero. So yeah, we should go to Lalivero, and Sheba might still be with Saturos and Minardi, which I can guarantee you that she definitely is. Alright, since we made it to the exit of the Suhalla Desert, I think this is a perfect spot to where we can go ahead and we can wrap up things. So, next time on Double RPG Let's Play with Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance, we're going to resume where we left off, and we're going to make our way to the Venus Lighthouse and do some initial stuff there, and then we are going to go to Lalivero to see how we can get into the Venus Lighthouse through a different path. Alright gamers, if you have not done so already, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter with the links in the description, and if you like what you saw, then be sure to rate this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave comments below to let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Alright gamers, take care of yourselves, and I shall see you on the next one. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys then.